Alright, today's video is about our props or our entity assets that we're able to put into the game for things like furniture, um, fire hydrants, anything that's not pretty much floor, walls, or ground is going to be considered an entity. And so there's a lot of different types of entities. So we're going to cover two of them today. We're going to do what they call a prop static and a prop physics. And they both kind of have different capabilities, but you're going to use both of them depending on the object that you're making or what you need the object to do. So in the example that I have here, if you look at my screen, I have three couches lined up right here. They're identical, same couch, same exact model. So I'm going to run the map real quick so you can see the difference between them. That's the difference in the settings between what happens to the couch in the game. So I'm going to run my map. And we'll bring that over. Reload. Alright, so here's the house. I'm going to break in through the window here. So first thing you're going to notice right off the bat is that there's only two couches. In the editor we could see three, but in the actual running game there's only two. When I walk up to the couches and I push this one, nothing happens. When I go up to this one, I can push this couch around. Okay, so same couch. We have three different outcomes here. One of them is fixed in place and I can't move it. One of them I can move around, and then one of them just didn't even appear. So let's get out of the game, and then we'll take a look at why that's happening. Alright, so first off, let's go ahead and create an entity, like a prop in the game. So we're going to use our entity tool, light bulb. So click on that. We're going to go to the other side of the screen where it says category entities, and under objects there's a drop down menu right here. There's hundreds and hundreds of things inside here. Okay, we're going to look for the one that says prop underscore static. So it'll say prop static, just like this right here. Okay, so I'm going to go entity tool, click on the little light bulb. I'm going to go to this side of the screen where it says category entities. Under object type, you're going to drop down the menu, and you can even type in prop underscore, and it's going to bring up all the different types of props. There's a ton of them in here. We'll go over most of them throughout the year, but the one we want to start with is prop static. Okay, so we're going to go prop static. Then I want you to click on the ground, and you're going to get the little red box. Take your selection tool, double click on the red box, and that brings up the object properties menu. Look where it says world model, select that, world model, click browse, and it'll probably look like this. Okay. Now if you get the error because for some reason this is the first time you're opening this, or occasionally this error just pops up even if you've run it before, and when you click browse you just get a little corner right here. This box is like white or gray, and it's like just the corner of this window. All you have to do is just close everything, come back, double click on the red box, go to world model, click browse, and it'll come up the second time. It's just a bug in the engine. It's documented, but they've just never fixed it. And if you close everything and reopen it, everything's fine. Alright, so in our little model browser here, this is where all of our assets are inside the game, all of our different props. So the first thing you want to make sure of is that this is like the folder hierarchy of all of the objects in the game. You want to make sure that you're at the very top folder, MDL files here. If you're clicking like in cranes or something like that, it's only going to show you objects within the cranes folder. So if we're searching for a couch, there is no couch inside the cranes folder, so you're going to come up with no model files available. If I'm at this very top MDL files. What that means, it's looking for model files, MDL files. So we want to make sure that we're always searching at the top level of this folder. Down here in the filter box, you can type in whatever you're looking for. So like sofa, that didn't come up with anything. But if I type in, couch, I'm going to get a few different couches here. So for the purpose of this example, I want you to choose this red one here. And just go ahead and, it only has one skin, so we're just going to go with the default skin on it. Okay, so under filter, I want you to type in couch, and you can look at them, but for the purpose of what we're about to do for the demonstration, I want you to choose this brownish red ugly couch. Click OK, click apply, and the couch should appear in your map. Now it's probably going to be sunk in the floor. Mine always appear in the floor, so I'm going to lift it out of the floor here. Set it on the floor. That should be good enough. Okay. Alright, so I've got this couch in the map. So I want you to go ahead and save your map and run it. So I'm going to go File, Save, File, Run Map. And then you won't check this, but you'll just click OK. Mine's already running, so that's why I did that. Okay, so here's my map. I'm going to come in here. And if you did everything right, the couch is gone. It's not going to appear in the game. That's because we put it in as a prop static. So there's primarily two types of props that make up most of what you see in a game level. You've got your prop static and a prop physics. So a static prop is going to be something that in normal everyday life doesn't move. So like your sink or your toilet, those kind of things, those are static. Anything that you as a normal human could bump into and move is probably actually going to be a prop physics. So when you put an object into the game, if it doesn't show up, flip it between those two, either prop static or prop physics. Okay, so one of those two will work on most household type objects. Now, NPCs, monsters, that kind of stuff, a whole different category. We'll do those on a different lesson. But things, all of our furniture, appliances, light fixtures, that kind of stuff is all going to be done through prop physics or prop static. And you have to think in terms of like normal everyday life. Like if I touch this object and I push on it a little bit, is it going to move? Is it attached to the ground? So like a light fixture in your ceiling is static because in your normal everyday life, if you touch it, it doesn't move. Like your toilet, a sink, an oven, a refrigerator, those are all static objects. Things like chairs, books, plates, cups, those are physics because in your normal everyday life, if I touch a cup, I can move it. Then you kind of run into like gray area objects like a table. Normally my table doesn't move when I push on it, but in the game it might be a physics object, it might be a static object. And the problem is it comes down to whoever made the model. So if the model maker decided it was a physics prop, it's a physics prop in the game. If the model maker decided that he or she wanted it to be a static prop, it's going to be a static prop in the game. So we don't always know. And so sometimes if you put an object in and it's not there, we're just going to flip it to the other option, and that usually fixes most of our problems. All right, so let's go back to that couch that we put in. All right, so here's the couch that didn't show up. So I'm going to just take my selection tool, double click on the couch. Under class, it says prop static. So I know that it didn't show up as a prop static. So that tells me that this is probably a prop physics. So I'm going to drop this down, switch it to prop physics, click apply, and now this should show up in the game. And that's about it. Let's run the game again and see what happens with the couch. Alright, so my game is running. I'm going to reload my map. And I can already see that it's shown up here. So there it is, and it's a physics prop, so I'm pushing it, okay? All right. Okay, so now if you look at my example here, this couch moves, this one doesn't. So same couch, but maybe I don't want the player to be able to move all the furniture around the map. Maybe I only want them to be able to move chairs, but not slide all the couches around the map. So we can take a physics prop and we can disable movement on it. So we're going to go back to that couch, the one that you just made. Double click it. Okay. Under flags, there's a tab across the top that says flags. There's a checkbox here that says motion disabled. Check it, click apply, and now if we run the map again, so here's my map, go in here, alright, there's the couch, but if I touch it, I can't move it, so it's a physics prop. It is set as a prop physics with motion disabled. So that means that it allows it to be in the game, but it prevents it from moving. So if we have a prop that doesn't show up, check to see if it's prop physics. If you put it in the game, but it's falling on the ground or the players are able to move it and it messes up your map, just simply check the box that says motion disabled. Then you'll be able to lock that object in place. Okay? So our object or our objective today is to put in or start putting in all your furniture, appliances, light fixtures, lamps, beds, tables, chairs, toilets, sinks, all the stuff that goes with your basic rooms. They are all going to be either prop static or prop physics. And I recommend doing physics with motion disabled on most of your props, with the exception of like a few random chairs or stuff like that. But I wouldn't leave things like tables and couches, beds. I wouldn't let the player move those things around, because there is a chance that the player could move objects in such a way that it locks them into a room or gets them stuck, or you can like glitch a bed through a wall or something like that. So I would really limit my physics enabled props to little things that, in your normal everyday life you can move around, lamps, chairs, that kind of stuff. But if you notice when you play games, most of the stuff, you're not walking around picking every object up. Even in a game like Skyrim or Fallout, where you can explore most of everything, you can't pick up every single table and cabinet and bookshelf, because it's too ungainly, and it can cause glitches. It can allow the player to get into parts of the map they aren't supposed to by stacking objects, or or the player can get stuck. They can accidentally wedge a bed in a doorway and be stuck in the room and have to quit. So we want to avoid that. All right. So that is your assignment today, is to start decorating your house. I'll be looking for things like, stuff on the walls. There's pictures, there's mirrors, there's bathroom vanities, there's light fixtures, ceiling fans, all that stuff. So it's either going to be a prop physics or a prop static, and that's it. That's what we're working on for the next 2 days, is decorating your house.